Leadoff man for the Red Sox is Jacoby Ellsbury. Here's Talent going to work. And we're underway from Toronto. So great of you to join us. I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino.
We have talked about Talent and how well he has pitched. He has also pitched very well here at Rogers Center. His ERA is under 3 here. So he feels comfortable. It certainly looked like the Blue Jays were comfortable in last night's game, playing in front of the home crowd, finally getting off the road after that awful start.
2-0 against the speedy Ellsbury. That's down low for ball 3. Talent does not have a decision this year here at Rogers Center. His 2 wins and 3 losses, all coming on the road. Three balls and no strikes on the leadoff man. And that's a strike. Quite obviously, Ellsbury is not a guy you want to see get on. He's got 21 stolen bases. That's number 2 in the American League. So the big left-hander deals, and there is strike 2.
Doing what a leadoff batter has to do. See a lot of pitches. Taking all the way that 3-1 fastball right down the middle. Ellsbury swinging a hot bat also over his last 24 games. Getting on base and scoring a ton of runs.
Here is the payoff from Talent. Chopped foul. Ellsbury's having an Aaron Hill type season. 63 hits for the leadoff man. Puts him 7th in the American League. Working the count here against Brian Talent. He got under that one, and it drifts out of play. Talent has opened enough eyes that he gets the start today in favor of Scott Richmond, who was bumped from the rotation. Could work out of the bullpen in this series. Slap to left field. There's Inglet, and that's the first out.
When you are starting a new position for the first time this year, it's always nice to get that first one. Have that first ball hit to you, kind of get the monkey off your back. Say, okay, no problem. I made that one look easy.
His worst outing without fail came in Kansas City, but he's improved dramatically since then. He just doesn't have any run support.
Yeah, look at the run support. We talked about his last 3 starts, just 4 runs scored by the Blue Jays for him. And what he is doing is he is really attacking the strike zone and trusting his stuff. And basically saying, here, try and hit this and hit your way on. I am not going to walk you. Early in his career, that was part of the problem for Brian Talent, is his ability to throw consistent strikes. But since he has been moved into that starting rotation, he has been very good.
Cito Gaston told me today that Talent feels, for the most part, responsible for starting that 9-game losing streak. With every loss that followed his loss to Tim Wakefield a week ago Tuesday, it placed more of a burden on his shoulders. So you bet he was thrilled to see the Blue Jays pick up a victory last night. He took the loss Monday in Baltimore simply because the Blue Jays couldn't score any runs for him, dropping a 4-1 decision despite 6 innings of 2-run work. That's down and in on Pedroia. Dustin's having another exceptional year, hitting .330. 3-1. And the pitch is off the plate, ball 4.
Well, that's something you don't want to see. And I guess early on, now that they've opened up the roof, a little time to chance for Talent to kind of get his bearings here a little bit. When he gets that release point and he's throwing strikes like he has been in the past, he has been tough. Left-handers hitting .270 against him. Right-handers .190 for an overall batting average against of .215, which is good enough for 5th in the American League.
Kevin Youkilis is hitting third today. Everybody moves up with the absence of J.D. Drew in the lineup. Youkilis was the cleanup man last night. Talent keeping an eye on Pedroia at first. And that's hit foul. So it's 0-2 on Youkilis.
This is when he does his best work right here with 2 strikes on him. Really grinds it out. He's got great strike zone recognition. Shortens his swing up just a little bit. Look at those numbers since coming from the disabled list. 10 games. Home run and 9 RBIs.
You know, voters could have named Youkilis the MVP last year. Nobody really would have flinched. He had an exceptional season, hitting .312, 29 home runs. He drove in 115. You watch the guy standing at first base take the honors. That's Dustin Pedroia. Here's the 1-2, and Talent throws over to Overbay.
Well, he came up with so many big hits. You talked about the home runs and the RBIs, but it was the big hits, the game-winning hits, or the hits that put his team ahead. Certainly made up for the trade of Manny Ramirez and the slump of David Ortiz last year.
Pedroia on the left won the award. Youkilis finished third. Justin Morneau of the Twins sandwiched in between. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes Talent again. Swung on and missed, and he got him. He pulls the string on Youkilis.
You don't see that a lot from Kevin Youkilis. Just the 32nd time that he has gone down. You're right. Talent takes a little something off. Maybe he was trying to backdoor that breaking ball like we talked about in the scouting report, but it has Uke out in front. First strikeout of the afternoon for Brian Talent.
So here's Jason Bay hitting 4th today for the Red Sox. And I suggested everybody moves up, everybody except David Ortiz, who remains in the 6th hole for the Red Sox today. Bay had a pair of hits in the ballgame last night. Doing nothing. And Talent sets and fires. Now 3-0. Bay is taking, and it's a strike.
The Red Sox have had their success versus left-handed pitching this year. 11 of their victories have come against starters who throw from the left side. Their team batting average is about .280, which is excellent. But this is something that they can do pretty well also. They can wait you out and get you in the scoring position.
Ryan walked only 2 in 6 innings of work in his last outing in Baltimore. He's walked 2 already here in the first inning.
And I think he did a good thing right there. He kind of stepped off the mound, kind of took a deep breath, and kind of gathered himself just a little bit. You're right. This is something we haven't seen from him in a while.
And here is a tough hitter, Mike Lowell, who is now 5 hits shy of 1,500 career.
Multiple hits in 3 of his last 5 games. Got that batting average up over 300. Boy, he is really struggling right now with his release point. And when you talk about players who have, in their career, had great numbers against Toronto, we've spoken in the past about Manny Ramirez and Alex Rodriguez. Average-wise, Mike Lowell right up there. A .330 career hitter versus Toronto. Ichiro just kills the Blue Jays, doesn't he? Michael Young the same.
2-0, and that's a strike. Surely an important one for Brian Talent here. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Starting to look like yesterday's ball game when the Red Sox loaded up the bases with 2 outs in the first inning, and David Ortiz came up against Casey Jansen
and hit one right at about the 400 in center field. As you say that, guess who's on deck? To center field, base hit for Lowell. Pedroia is in to score. The Red Sox lead 1-0. Mike Lowell with his 34th RBI of the year.
You know, when you get yourself in fastball counts and you work that pitcher, it makes your job so much easier. Lowell shortens his swing a little bit, doesn't try and pull it. You see, it's kind of a half swing from Lowell, but because it's a fastball count, he stays back. He was able to kind of punch that ball into right center field for the RBI single. Don't try and do too much with that ball.
Well, the first walk issued comes back to haunt Talent. Pedroia comes in. The second man he walked, Jason Bay, stands at third. David Ortiz is the hitter now. And it's low for ball 1.
We all know how David Ortiz has struggled this year. The numbers do not look like what we have seen from the past. And over the last few games, he has really struggled, hitting .071 with 11 punch outs. But still very dangerous when he steps in that box.
Let's go back to May 20th. Brett Cecil, who's now in AAA, gives up the only home run Ortiz has hit this year.
How about that sigh of relief right there from David Ortiz when he crossed home plate. Guys like this, you know, when they're in a slump, I always say they're due. And they're scary kind of guys because they've done it in the past. You know that there's going to be hits in that bat sooner or later. You just hope that you make a good pitch, he gets out, and they get out of town before he starts swinging it the way he can.
It is so unlike Ortiz to hit 200 with runners in scoring position, but that is indeed the case. There's Brian Talent hoping to lower that average. Pitches inside and misses.
You can see that Ortiz is trying different things at the plate. Right now it looks like he's closed up a little bit more, standing a little bit more erect. Before it seemed like he was open a little bit more, right on top of the plate. A little bit more of a slight crouch. Now it looks like he's a little bit more erect, trying to stay on top of the ball.
Ripped right at Overbay. Oh my, a bullet. And Ortiz can't buy a hit in this series. Luckily for Brian Talent, Overbay makes the out, and he only gives up 1.
Yeah, luckily he was playing him on the line also, or that would have been extra bases and 2 more runs.
Toronto's lineup with some changes at the bottom of the order, including Bautista taking third base in place of Scott Rowland. He bats sixth. Raul Chavez, the catcher, bats eighth. Joe Inglet gets the start in left field. Marco Scutaro, a 6-game hit streak. The man right behind him, Aaron Hill, has it safely in 12. And Brad Penny is coming off a victory in Minneapolis. And 2 starts ago, a victory against these Blue Jays. So he goes back to work with a 5-1 record.
This is his 10th start of the season and is looking for a 6th win already. His ERA is high, but his record is very good, thanks to some pretty good run support by the Boston Red Sox.
Well, we just saw that Ortiz home run replayed from May the 20th. That came in support of Penny. In fact, Red Sox hitters hit 4 home runs in the 5th inning off Brett Cecil in that ball game. So Penny got the needed support. This liner is headed right for Rocco Baldelli. And Scutaro is gone.
Some changes for Terry Francona and the Boston Red Sox. You mentioned Rocco Baldelli taking over for J.D. Drew with the left-hander on the mound. Jason Varitek, who had last night's game off, the captain behind the plate tonight, and Nick Green plays at shortstop. He leads the team in errors with 8. So a little unsettling at shortstop this year for Boston.
Here's Hill. Aaron last night had a single in 5 trips to the plate and has now hit safely in 12. Brad Penny is oh so casual in his delivery, enough that he even looks away from the batter when his leg is up in the kick.
In the scouting report that we're going to go over here, I mentioned that. Oh, a little bit of something there. It really makes the ball get on you quickly, I think.
Popped him up, and that ball's out of play.
Let's take a look at that scouting report, Jamie. He is very deliberate in his approach to home plate with that windup, and I think that ball really explodes on the hitter. It kind of surprises him. He really relies on that fastball. He's also got that slow curveball and a little bit of a split finger fastball also. And he had some problems last year with his shoulder, and the way he is pitching, it looks like the shoulder is healthy again. Spent 3 stints on the disabled list last year.
On to right field, base hit for Hill. And it skips away from Baldelli, and now Hill's charging for second, in there safely. Aaron takes advantage of the right fielder's miscue, and he is hit safely in 13 consecutive games.
You know, we had talked last night that the defense has let down the Boston Red Sox this year. That was a play that Rocco Baldelli normally makes. He's a very sure-handed outfielder. Single by Hill as he stays on top of that fastball. And now it looks like this ball kind of short hops. Baldelli, he whiffs on it. It'll be an error on the right fielder, allowing Hill to get in the scoring position.
Ball 1 to Alex Rios. Nothing Boston. Man in scoring position for the Blue Jays, though. 1-1 is the count on Alex, who doubled in the game last night and was hit by a Tim Wakefield knuckleball in the backside to lead off the 5th inning, and that turned out to be a fairly large instance in the game as the Blue Jays were able to go on and score 5 times.
Well, what was fun about that inning, something we have seen over the first 6 weeks of the season, was the Blue Jays were getting hits with 2 outs. All 5 of those runs scoring with 2 outs. In fact, they had 6 2-out hits in last night's ball game. All 6 of the runs scoring via hits with 2 outs. So that is something good to see.
Penny from the stretch. Line to left field. Base hit for Rios. Hill turns around third and comes home, and this game is tied at 1. Alex with his 23rd RBI.
We saw a little bit of a glimpse from Alex Rios in last night's game that maybe he's starting to come out of this. He drove a ball off the right center field wall for a double. This time, Penny tries to slip a fastball by him, but he is up to the task. Hits it sharply into left field for that RBI single. And I'm guessing he is not going to be at first base for very long. Penny is very slow and deliberate to the plate. Jason Varitek has had problems throwing guys out this year. But if the situation warrants it, I could see him trying to steal second early in this game.
Alex is now 6 for 9 career against Penny. Here's Wells. Rios creeping out near first base and taking off immediately, but it's fouled away by Vernon. 1-1.
What a huge jump he got also. He did not have 2 feet, or excuse me, 1 foot on the carpet. He had 2 of them on the dirt, so it wasn't a very aggressive lead, but he got a huge jump. He read Penny right away. Watch this. Boom. He is in a full sprint after about 2 steps.
He doesn't go there. It's 2-1. Vernon has hit safely in 5. As Varitek peers into the dugout, has his signs, and sends Penny over to first. Here's a man who is 2 years removed from going 16-4 for the Dodgers. Wells flies to center field. And Rios has to head back to first.
You know what happens when you've got at least a guy who is a threat to steal at first base? That might buy some more fastballs for the hitters behind him. The catcher likes to put down that number 1 when he feels like there's a runner at first base who has an attempt to steal, just to get that ball there a little bit quicker, and it's a lot easier to catch and throw like that.
Let's see what Adam Lynn can do. Adam really struggled on that recent road trip, hitting just .128. Rios is gone again, and Lynn swings at it, flying into left field. Jason Bay comes in, and his catch puts away the Blue Jays, who score the tying run on Rios's RBI single. Rogers Center when the Kansas City Royals come to town. So many members of the '89 team will be around. And the Jays are giving away replica Rogers Centers, if you can believe it. So bring your old Jesse Barfield cards and Dwayne Ward, Mookie Wilson, Mike Flanagan, Rance Mulliniks. It will be a celebration here at Rogers Center. 20 years of the building. Tickets are available by looking at BlueJays.com. It's a 1-1 game. Brian Talent on the hill. The Jays were able to get that run back for Brian with 2 hits in the first inning. And now Jason Varitek, who may be the hottest Red Sox right now. He hit 2 home runs Thursday in Minnesota. Has 6 of them in his last 9 games. And had 2 against the Blue Jays in Brad Penny's last start against Toronto.
So all told, 6 home runs over his last 9 games. Is there anybody hot? Well, maybe Luke Scott has been pretty hot.
In the American League. Yeah, Luke Scott had quite a game.
Quite a week.
That one's popped up and it drifts out of play. Now those Orioles have now won 5 straight games, and they had something like 40,000 people at Camden Yards for the game yesterday because of, indirectly I guess, Matt Wieters' major league debut, the top prospect in all of baseball, who just happens to be a catcher. That's in on Varitek, 2-2. In fact, I believe Wieters went to Georgia Tech, the same school
as Varitek.
Varitek went to, and was really influenced to go there by Jason. Here's the 2-2 from Talent, and it's dribbled foul.
Jason turned 37 on April the 11th. And Major League history, there's only been 6 catchers who's ever caught 100 games at the age of 37. Bob Boone is on there, Brad Ausmus, Carlton Fisk, Benito Santiago, Ernie Witt, and Elston Howard are the only catchers who have caught at least 100 games after turning 37 years old. But the way he is swinging the bat, he certainly doesn't look like he's 37.
And the way he's swinging it, the Red Sox are certainly happy. They re-signed him in the offseason. Here's the 3-2, line to left, and foul. There was a real back and forth in the offseason as to whether or not Varitek was even going to come back to this team.
If you read the papers, or if you read the papers in Boston this winter, it was, oh, he's gone. He's going to go sign with Texas or some of the other ones. This ball is right down the line. Off the bat, it looks fair, but watch how it hooks. Way out in front, and it's foul by a couple of feet. And then the next week you'd see that the Red Sox have made another offer and he's coming back. But I know the pitchers are very happy to have him because he's an excellent receiving catcher.
Well, Brian Talent has been uncharacteristically wild here today, walking 3 now. And the number 8 hitter, Rocco Baldelli, stands in. We've seen a lot of this early on. First pitch balls to Red Sox hitters.
Brian didn't have any of those problems back on the 19th when he faced Boston. Just 2 base on balls in the 6th inning to go along with 5 strikeouts.
Boston made him throw 31 pitches in the first inning. He's thrown 9 already here in the second. Baldelli's at the plate. Varitek a short lead at first. Clubbed into the air in left field, sending Joe Inglet back to the wall. That ball is carrying and out of here. A 2-run shot, Baldelli. It's 3-1 Boston.
Second home run of the year for Rocco Baldelli. And he makes up for the error in the bottom of the first inning by clubbing that ball to left field. It was high, and it looked like Joe Inglet, the left fielder, had a beat on it, but he just ran out of real estate. Baldelli gets to that ball on the inner half, and you see Inglet take a quick look, and it just lands into the bullpen of the Blue Jays.
So of the 3 men that Talent has walked so far today, 2 have come in to score. And Nick Green, the number 9 hitter and shortstop, is up at the plate now, 0-2.
That is the first home run given up by Brian Talent since the last time he won a game back on May the 9th. It's a span of 3 starts.
A ball and 2 strikes on Green. And he chases that pitch. Chavez out to get the loose ball. Green's gone for the first out. Fast Facts, as always, are brought to you by Rogers High-Speed Internet, the fastest and most reliable, period. And here is what the Red Sox have done since trading Manny Ramirez to the Dodgers last July. They've gone 62-40.
So I think that means that that's one of those good trades for everybody. Boston Red Sox pick up a great player, I think, in Jason Bay. Manny Ramirez goes to Los Angeles and helps them win their division, get into the playoffs, and then is out for 50 games this year.
Perfect timing if you're part of Red Sox Nation. There's Ellsbury grounding to first. Overbay takes it himself. And that's the second out. I think a lot of people really thought there'd be a fall off in production.
Yes.
Once Ramirez had left, but Jason Bay quietly took over that role and has really done wonders playing left field every day for the Red Sox.
I remember going into Boston right after that trade, and it was like, oh, well, we're not going to win anything. Who's this Jason Bay guy? And Manny Ramirez is this and that. And boy, they just took off and they played great baseball.
And others picked it up. People like Dustin Pedroia and Kevin Youkilis. There's the man from Trail, British Columbia, watching Youkilis take the pitch inside. 2 balls and no strikes here. Excuse me, Pedroia. He walked and scored in the first inning. Something is amiss with Brian Talent today.
Yeah, it looks like the release point, that maybe he's getting out in front a little bit too quickly. Maybe he's not staying over the rubber as normally, like he normally does. But it just doesn't look like that release point and the feel that he's had just pounding that strike zone this year. It's just not there yet.
So oftentimes you'll see pitchers struggle, as Talent did in the first inning, throwing 31 pitches. They go back into the dugout. Gives them a time to think about it. They figure things out, but it doesn't look as if he has. And he just walked another. Pedroia for the second time. So that's 4 walks already for Talent.
And Brad Arnsberg has seen something. He has worked with him. And when you talk to Brian, one of the adjustments that he made from last year to this year that I think that has really helped him to get off to the good start that he has had is he said, you know what, I'm going to be fearless out there. I'm going to just try and stay on top of the ball and just throw strikes. When I get myself into troubles, when I'm falling behind guys, walking people, or giving up 3-1 base hits.
Let's bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, Terry Francona mentioned before the game that the difference he sees in Brian Talent as a starter as compared to a reliever is that he really relies on his changeup, and his changeup has been really good. You look in this game, and being unable to establish the fastball has really taken his changeup out of play too. Thrown maybe 3 or 4 of them to this point so far, and that's a key pitch for Talent.
He threw one to get strike 3 on Kevin Youkilis, who stands in now. 2 gone, second inning. And it's the Red Sox on top 3-1 thanks to Rocco Baldelli's 2-run home run. But Talent has walked 4. And if there's anybody on this Red Sox club that knows how to work the count, it's the man at the plate.
Yeah. He can grind out at bats with the best of them. You know, we were talking about Scott Richmond, and Cito told us before the game that he would probably start next Saturday's game. Well, he is getting loose and loose quickly here in the second inning. Cito doesn't want this one to get away from him early.
Pedroia's running. Chavez the throw. It's late. Stolen base number 8, excuse me, for Pedroia.
He guessed correctly against Brian Talent. He threw over there one time, and then look at this. He's going to move on first movement. No looking into the home plate area to see what the batter does. That is a straight steal from Pedroia. Puts his head down and goes hard. No chance for Chavez to throw him out.
1-1. The pitch to Youkilis is up. 2 balls and a strike on Kevin Youkilis. With 2 out here in the second inning, Jason Bay awaits on deck. Talent sets and fires. Ball 3.
Youkilis was a good RBI man. You mentioned it, 115 driven in last year for Boston. 29 already this year, leading the American League in hitting at 371.
Talent deals, swung on and missed. He got him again. Got him with the changeup and strikes out Youkilis for the second time. Baldelli, though, goes yard. It's 3-1 Boston. By simply texting the word alerts to short code 707070. And keep in mind that standard message rates do apply. 3-1 Boston, bottom of the second inning, with Jose Bautista, Lyle Overbay, and Raul Chavez set to face Brad Penny. Sam Cosentino had touched on that effective changeup thrown by Brian Talent, and it was thrown effectively to get Youkilis striking out to end the top of this inning, leaving Pedroia on base. Still, it's Baldelli's home run that propels Boston into the lead. And those walks are really hurting Talent right now. He walked Veritek just ahead of Baldelli, and he walked Pedroia in the first. Pedroia coming home on Lowell's single.
Yeah, 4 of them in 2 innings. Not going to get the job done. just going to run that pitch count up and make Cito Gaston go to his bullpen. It's nice to have a Scott Richmond down there, a long man who is fresh in case Brian Talent runs into trouble. But let's see what they can do here against Penny now. He will challenge you with a fastball. You will get at least one of those fastballs when you are up there.
There's the breaking ball grounded to Lowell. And he throws up Bautista.
Mike Lowell, one of the finer fielding third basemen in all of baseball. Make that play look easy. Brad Penny was an all-star when he was a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2006 and 2007. And we were talking just a little bit yesterday. We just kind of touched on it about the small moves that the Boston Red Sox made over the winter. It wasn't one of those big splash jobs like we saw from the New York Yankees. They went out and got a Brad Penny for 1 year. They went out and signed John Smoltz. They went out and got Rocco Baldelli. Kind of under the radar type of signings that I think were very smart, economically smart, good players who have something to prove after having injuries last year.
There's a strike to Lyle Overbay, and if they looked into the numbers, they'll notice that Penny historically gets off to very strong starts. Back in 07, he was 10-1 prior to the All-Star break, 10-2 before the All-Star break the year before.
He has 99 career wins coming into this start. It doesn't hurt to have great run support. Okay, the Red Sox, this is the best in all of baseball at 8 runs a game. But he's got 99 career wins. 65 of them have come in the first half. So you're right, he has gotten off to some great starts in the past. 3 of those pitchers right here. Wakefield we saw last night. Halladay, the Red Sox will miss in this series.
2-2 pitch drilled to center field by Overbay. Ellsbury running, but he can't catch up to that ball. Overbay turns for second, and he's got a 1-out double.
Number 12 on the year for Lyle Overbay, and he went down and got that one. And if you're the center fielder, that ball is just slicing away from you. I don't care how fast you are not going to catch up to it because it keeps going away from you. Watch where this ball is. Down, away, and Overbay stays on top of that, and that ball just sliced out into left center field. No chance for Jacoby Ellsbury, the center fielder. As hard as he can run, that ball is just going right by you. Good piece of hitting right there by Overbay.
Raul Chavez now gets his first at bat. Lyle's bat is really starting to heat up too. That's 8 straight games with a base hit. He's into scoring position for Chavez, who takes over as backup due to the injury in the middle of April suffered by Michael Barrett. Swings late there. It's 0-2. He's played for a ton of teams in his time. The Expos, the Mariners, Houston for a long time. Most recently the Pittsburgh Pirates. Penny with the 0-2 pitch upstairs. That puts Chavez down.
They just want to back him off the plate. Jason Varitek has done that in the past. He really stands up with 2 strikes, wanting that ball up, changing the eye plane of the hitter. Wasn't really that close. But because it was up, Chavez ducks out of the way. Now we'll probably see something down and away now after that high fastball.
He goes after it. High cheese, strike 3.
Penny missed his spot. Varitek wanted that thing down and away. But he got away with a high fastball. You see the catcher set up. He wants that on the outside part of the plate. But with a good hard fastball, and he throws a heavy ball, Brad Penny. That one is right by him. When you square up his ball, it feels like you're hitting one of those medicine balls, one of those heavy balls. It's like facing Dwayne Ward. Dwayne Ward threw one of those heavy baseballs.
Here's Joe Inglet now. Inglet playing in his 5th game. He's had 6 at-bats and has yet to pick up a hit. And he has struck out 4 times. Getting the start in left field today in place of Adam Lind. Runner at second is Overbay after a 1-out double. Penny with the 0-1 pitch. And it goes for strike 2. Inglet was called up from AAA when Travis Snyder was sent down last week. He lifts this one to left field. It's dropped in quickly. A base hit. Overbay's held as Bay was in shallow left. So Joe Inglet picks up his first big league hit of the year and puts runners at the corners for Toronto.
A good piece of hitting because it's 2 strikes. Watch the reaction from Brad Penny after he gives up the hit. He wants the ball elevated, but he doesn't get it up high enough. Inglet kind of inside outs that swing, and because Bay is, you see Penny right there, watch him upset. Because Bay was not playing very deep against Inglet, they have to hold Lyle Overbay at third base. Bay is a very good catch and throw outfielder, very accurate with his arm.
Back comes Scudero, and he made solid contact his first time up, lining to right field. The Blue Jays now with 4 hits against Penny. Popped up, and this ball drifts toward the seats and out of play. Marco has 5 straight multi-hit games. Had a single and a double in the game last night. Doubled and singled on Wednesday against the Orioles. So he's starting to pile them up. Off the plate, 2-1. Finally, some clouds, some sun, some blue skies.
Finally a feel of summer. I mean, it's starting to feel like baseball weather.
Finally, we can tell a day game from a night game. How many times have we sat here in the middle of the afternoon thinking it's a night game or vice versa? The 2-1 pitch, laced foul.
Well, that's a good pitch to hit right there, and I think Marco knows it too. Just from his reaction after fouling that ball back, that was a fastball belt high right down the middle. Watch where this pitch is, right down the middle, and the reaction from Scudero after he gets back. He knows he had a good pitch to hit.
Kick in the pitch, and into the seats it goes. This is where they always talk about having 2 strikes and a batter shortens their swing. Explain that.
Well, you know, you want to let the ball get a little bit deeper. You don't want to lead with your elbow or lead with your lower half. You want that ball to track just a little bit farther, so you have to be a little bit shorter with your swing. the time it takes for you to get started and where you want to hit it out in front. Got to be a little bit shorter. That's why it's always good to be able to hit the ball from foul line to foul line in these situations.
There's the 2-2, a breaking ball on the ground for Green at short. He gets the force at second, and the Blue Jays leave 2. After 2, 3-1 Boston. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. First time we've seen the roof roll back in a while. I think only once previous, if I'm not mistaken, this year. The Red Sox in town. Healthy crowd here at Rogers Center. Boston's on top 3-1. Jason Bay is the hitter.
This will be an interesting inning to watch Brian Talent after the home run by Rocco Baldelli. I have seen pitchers after they give up a long one, as that ball is hit out in the left field. Can of corn for Joe Inglet, 1 out. I've seen them after giving up a home run just kind of settle down just a little bit more and say, okay, that's it. I've given up the home run. Now I'm just going to pound the strike zone a little bit better. And they seem to kind of relax a little bit. So I think this is going to be a very interesting inning to watch Talent, see if he can come back after giving up 2 last inning.
Strike 1 to Mike Lowell, and that's a good sign, because he's had his trouble, as you know, getting ahead of hitters. Talent is in this position due to an injury to Jesse Litch. Litch is recovering from a right forearm strain, and I spoke with J.P. Ricciardi in Baltimore. Unfortunately, the recovery is taking a lot longer than they had imagined.
Yeah, they thought it was going to be initially just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It was over a month ago now, wasn't it?
Well, here's Talent making his 9th start. 2-1. Little tapper out in front of the mound. Chavez throws him out. Well, you can watch out-of-market games, over 100 per week, in fact, by signing up for MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience. For more information, please look at BlueJays.com, where baseball is always on. Big Poppy, David Ortiz, a swing and a miss.
You know it's doubly worse when you're struggling to hit home runs and drive in runs and get that batting average up over 200 when you finally hit a ball hard and have nothing to show for it, like Ortiz had the last couple of at-bats here. That is doubly tough to take. Last night he sent a screamer right on the line, down the right field line, that Overbay picked off for an out. And then his first time up in this game with a couple of runners on, smoked another one to the first baseman and has nothing to show.
There's a weak wave from a big hitter, normally a big hitter. Tough days, though, for David Ortiz. And for Brian Talbot, a very quick third inning. That's a good sign. 3-1 Boston. Most reliable period. 77 hits in the first 52 games for Aaron Hill. Let's see, Scott Carson projects 240 then. For the club record established by Vernon Wells at 215 and 03.
You know, it's only happened 5 times in Blue Jay histories where a batter has gotten 200 hits in a season. You saw the Vernon Wells team record of 215 in 2003.
Popped up on the first pitch. Veritek roaming over, puts away Hill.
Tony Fernandez is second with 213. Paul Molitor in that great year in 1993 had 211. Shannon Stewart and John Olerud in 1993 at 200. That's it. Aaron Hill on his way to becoming the 6th.
Alex Rios drove in the Blue Jays' lone run in the first inning. An RBI single that cashed Hill. And Pat, you like that you have seen Alex swinging through the ball in the last 2 games.
Yeah, the ball he hit off the wall in last night's game was, I think, indicative of the type of hitter that he can be, where he's got power to all fields.
There he goes, driving this one to left center field. Extra bases for Alex. Ellsbury goes over to pick up the ball. A double for Rios. He's 2 for 2.
He is best when he is hitting the ball from gap to gap. Double to right center last night, single to center field this afternoon, and now this ringing double. Penny misses his spot again. This one is on the inner half, and he stays over this ball. Watch how he stays level with his shoulders and just rips that ball up the gut in left center field. Boston now has to be very wary of Rios, I think, at second base, because with 1 out, he could steal third and score on a ground out or a sacrifice fly. Watching Dustin Pedroia, he's getting a little bit closer to second base to hold Rios on.
Strike one on Wells, who's 0 for 1. Wells flied out to center his first time up. And he falls behind 0-2. Penny drops a curveball on the second pitch, gets ahead of Wells. Vernon's last RBI came in the loss to Baltimore on Monday. In fact, that was the last time Brian Tallett started prior to today. Here comes the 0-2 pitch upstairs.
He's missed with a couple of 0-2 pitches already this afternoon, and this time he was not going to miss again to Vernon Wells. Going to back him off the plate and get that ball up and in. Remember Joe Inglet, 0-2 base hit. You certainly don't want to do that to Vernon Wells. Give him something to hit with 2 strikes.
Vernon stays off the breaking ball, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Left-handed hitting Adam Lind is on deck for the Blue Jays, trailing by 2. And he deals inside for ball 3.
He's given up his share of base hits this year. Left-handers 301, right-handers 302. But he stands at 5-1 coming into this game. Jason Varitek now, who's always into the game. I think he feels that maybe the Blue Jays are trying to steal some signs as you see Vernon Wells get in front of that breaking ball and foul it off. So he goes out and talks to Penny. Just now getting behind the plate. It's probably one of those things, okay, this is what we're going to throw right here, and not even give a sign.
Penny with the payoff. Wells stays alive. Vernon's really making him work here. Hill popped out to begin the frame. Rios doubled. He's standing up at second. Here's Vernon. And that's in fair territory. Lowell makes the long throw to get Wells.
Well, he knows that Vernon Wells could really run, so he really did a good job, I thought, of rounding into that ball and getting his feet set. He's got one of the highest fielding percentages of all time for third baseman. And he just does all the little things. Watch how he rolls into this ball. He gets his feet set. His momentum now is going over to first base, so it takes a lot of pressure off your arm. And he gets Wells by a step.
Here's Adam Lind, who flied out to left. 2 gone in the third. He goes after a high fastball, 1-1.
Adam was talking after the game last night about his at-bats and this little mini slump that he has been in, that he feels like he is swinging at the pitcher's pitches. Here's a good example of it. High fastball. Can't do a whole lot with that. Go up there, look for a pitch in your spot. Take a rip at it.
Let's bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Pat, I was talking to Lind as well, and he said he was pretty happy with his at-bats right up to the Baltimore series, in which he really felt he got away from what had made him successful to this point. And so it was good to see that slump didn't really break his confidence to the point where he felt pretty good again last night and was looking forward to getting into a non-knuckleballer here today.
I think the mark of a good veteran hitter is he knows his strengths, he knows his weakness, and he also knows what the pitcher's trying to do to him. And a good veteran hitter can kind of get himself back on track when he finds himself kind of falling off. Varitek again calling timeout, trying to get on the same page with his starting pitcher.
Adam went 1 for 11 against Baltimore.
So many times you see young hitters come up and, you know, they might have some success, and then the pitchers change what they're trying to do to them, and they don't really understand their swing enough to be able to adjust to what the pitchers are doing. And I think we saw that from Travis Snyder earlier on. He had some success. The pitchers changed and wasn't really sure what he could do to get himself back on track.
Adam's one of those hitters that really has a plan when he goes up to the plate. When you struggle, is there a tendency to stray from that plan and maybe chase pitches that you shouldn't be swinging at?
I'd say you get a little bit more anxious. You know, you want to drive in that run. You want to be successful. And maybe you expand the strike zone just a little bit more and try to do too much.
2-2. And he gets a piece, staying alive. Rios is gone from second. The pitch is lined to left field, base hit, and Rios scores easily. His biggest task there was getting out of the way of the ball.
Does the aggressiveness of the Blue Jays get this cashed in? Mike Lowell kind of thinks so. I watched his reaction after that play. Now he's got to cover third base. There goes Rios. It's a fastball away. And it looked like Lynn hit it right where Lowell was standing. You see Mike Lowell here on the left of your screen, and he's got to take off on the pitch because he sees Rios darting towards third base. Vacates the spot, and the ball looked like it went right where he was standing.
That's twice that Lind has been able to do that. He did it on a hit and run
yesterday.
In the game yesterday,
yep,
when Julio Lugo vacated his spot at short. And so it's now 3-2. Lind with the RBI single. A hesitant Bautista takes strike 2. He's 0 for 1. One and two now on Bautista, who grounded out to third his last time up.
Brad Penny is a gutsy type of pitcher. He pitched in his last start with a sinus infection that caused an upset stomach. He was throwing up in between innings, but he gutted out, gave up just 3 runs, 6 hits, struck out 7 in 5 1/3 innings.
Oh, wow. Jose Bautista punched out by Tim McClellan on a pitch that really looked high. Let's take another look.
Well,
you be the judge.
You be the umpire.
Again outside, so please, if you have a glove, old or new, please bring it down and drop it off with the Jays Care Foundation in support of Rookie League. Their glove drive, collecting old gloves for kids who don't normally have an opportunity to go out and get one.
And it's not just baseball gloves, is it?
I saw some cleats there.
Yeah, used equipment.
Sure.
Any kind of equipment.
3-2 Boston. Jason Varitek gets under that one. A short pop-up into the camera bay. The number 7, 8, and 9 hitters are coming up. Varitek, Baldelli, and Green. Facing Brian Talent. Two strikes on Varitek. That's down. And Brian Talent has turned into one of those very subtle acquisitions who has worked out beautifully for the Blue Jays. Picked up in a trade from Cleveland in January of 2006. And all the Blue Jays gave up was a right-handed pitcher named Bubby Buzacaro, first name Edward, and they actually reacquired Buzacaro as a minor league free agent. He's pitching for them now in Double-A New Hampshire. And here's Talent starting in critical situations.
Came over here. I remember seeing him a couple years ago in spring training when he had some options left. Good pitch there to get Varitek. And they had just sent him down, and he was obviously disappointed, but that's the way baseball is. If you have options, the way they make the team up in spring training, you know, sometimes you have to go back down. But he went down, he made himself a better player, made himself a better pitcher, won this year a job in spring training in the bullpen. And what a find he has been with all the injuries that they've had to that starting rotation.
There's Rocco Baldelli batting for the second time. He homered his last time up. In those first 2 innings, Pat, we saw Talent walk 4. And ever since he's established himself, he's retired the last 5 consecutive hitters, striking out 2. You see a difference here?
All after that home run. Just like we were saying, after it happened, it just seemed like, okay, forget about it. You know, I gave up a home run, I've given up 3 runs, and the pressure just seems to come off, and you're a different player. Four of his 5 strikeouts have come after that home run.
Baldelli lines to center field. Vernon Wells catches up to it. And once again, we go downstairs where we find Sam Cosentino.
Well, apropos with Vernon Wells making the catch and touching a little further on what you talked about with the Jays Care Foundation Rookie League equipment drive. You know, the players really get involved with this, and Vernon Wells is the honorary commissioner. And then from there, the teams and players who receive this equipment are split up into divisions, the Overbay division, the Erin Hill division. They get a chance to play against one another. 8 weeks of camp, and so it's a huge program sponsored by the Jays Care Foundation, which would allow kids that otherwise would never have the opportunity not only to play baseball, but to get the equipment in order to play the game. So it's pretty good for the Blue Jays getting into the grassroots in the community area.
You're right, Sam. It's a very impressive program, and Vernon Wells is actively involved. Their aim is really to kickstart the interest of baseball in some of the inner city kids here in Toronto. 2 out, 2 strikes on Nick Green. The pitch from Talent skied to left field. An easy play for Joe Inglet. And for the second straight inning, Brian Talent pitches a 1-2-3. Here come the Jays with Overbay leading off when we return. up your tickets in advance, you can call the box office or go to your local Rogers Plus location for tickets to see the Blue Jays and the vastly improved Kansas City Royals. We hit the 5th inning here in Toronto. Jamie Campbell is with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. Brian Talent facing the top of the order in Ellsbury, Pedroia, and Youkilis. Ellsbury's 0 for 2. And he golfs that ball high in the air to right field. It backs up Rios a few steps. 1 gone, 5th inning. And our second birthday wish today is to 15-year-old Jake House, who's watching from Lowbanks, Ontario, on the shores of Lake Erie near Port Colborne. Congratulations, Jake. 1 away for Dustin Pedroia.
One of the things I like about Dustin Pedroia is his ability to really kind of turn it up a notch when he needs a base hit, especially in clutch situations. Last year in tie games, he hit over 350.
Ooh, you could hear that one from up here.
That one looked like it got around the knee area.
Down goes the reigning MVP.
It looks like they are poking around that left knee area. I was hit like that one time and broke a bone in my knee. And that really stings. It looks like he's going to stay in the game. He is such a tough player. You can listen to this replay and you can hear the thud. That looked like it got all bone right in that left knee. And that takes a while to walk that one off. Again, there's nothing there to kind of absorb the blow, like if you get hit in muscle or in your thigh or your backside. That is all bone right there, and it really stings.
How long were you out after it happened to you?
It happened at the end of the year, so I missed the last like 10 days of the season. Kurt Young got me right into the left leg and the left knee, and there was a cracked bone there. Watch where it hits, right on that knee. So needless to say, I don't think he's going to be stealing second base here.
I think most from Red Sox Nation are just happy to see him staying in the game.
Yeah.
Well, the sun is going to shine no longer on this playing field because the roof is closing now. Just as Talent sets to face Kevin Youkilis.
You know, in a couple of minutes, this is not going to be any fun for the hitter. When he is standing in the shade and the pitcher will be standing in the sunlight. Even after all these years, it is still cool to see the lid open and close here.
It certainly is. 20 years, in fact. Popped up by Youkilis into shallow right field. Rios makes the play for the second out. So Kevin Youkilis in the 3-hole today is 0 for 3. Jason Bay stands in now. We talked about the impact Bay had on the Red Sox when he came over from Pittsburgh. after his acquisition last July. He hit 9 home runs, drove in 37 in 49 regular season games. There goes Pedroia. They pitch out. Overbay throws down and gets him trying to slide into second. They will lead off the next time the Red Sox come to the plate. Here come the Blue Jays, top of the order upcoming. It's Boston 3 and the Jays 2. The weather is not looking good around here, so they'll close it up and we'll play the rest of the game indoors. Here in Toronto, Jamie Campbell is with Pat Tabler, Sam Cosentino, and our statistician Scott Carson. Boston leads it 3-2, last of the 5th. Brad Penny on the hill facing Marco Scutaro. Marco shows bunt, takes a strike. Scutaro has done wonders in the leadoff role this year. The on-base average is up. He's walked a ton as well.
That on-base percentage you were just talking about just slipped under 400 after the 0 for 2 here this afternoon. It's at 399 now. And he has done a good job. You talked about the base on balls. Something you want to see from your leadoff hitter, but still have power and production. 5 home runs, 25 driven in from your leadoff hitter is not bad.
Last year he was all over the infield, playing 41 games at third base. Remember, he started the year there when Scott Rowland started the season on the disabled list. 56 at short. He played 50 games at second base after the injury to Aaron Hill. He grounds this one off the mound into center field. A base hit for Scutaro.
That'll get that on-base percentage up over 400 again. We talked about pitches seen. Scutaro third in the American League in number of pitches seen this year. 899 coming into this series. He bangs this 2-strike pitch right back through the middle. Do you know who is 4th in the American League in pitches seen? Adam Lind. So I think that contributes to some of the success he had early, that he saw a lot of pitches.
Aaron Hill lays off the first one from Penny. And Aaron singled and scored in the first. If you've just joined us, he extends his hit streak now to 13 consecutive games. 2 games shy of establishing, or at least tying, his single season best. That was 07. 7 base hits for the Jays, and this ball is hit high in the air down the left field line, headed toward the foul pole, and foul. There's Ted Barrett. He got a good look.
It looked like it had legs to get over the wall, but then at the last second it comes straight down. It looked like it popped into the first row. Yeah, first row, just out of the reach of Jason Bay.
1-1. Now a ball and 2 strikes.
We talked about the good second basemen in last night's game. Here's some of them. 2 of the best in the American League who will probably both be in St. Louis in July, where the All-Star game is.
One's playing defensively, the other laying off a pitch from Penny. Let's bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, just a quick reminder, and it hasn't come into play here yet, but the replay booth here at the Rogers Center is located on the first base side through the visitors' dugout and up the tunnel adjacent to the umpire's room. So the definition here between home run ball and a foul ball is pretty clear, but in case it is needed, that is definitely available to the umpires here at the Rogers Center.
And they have not had to use it since instant replay was instituted. Late last year.
You know, I think the only way they will is one of those line drives that kind of ricochet back out onto the field. Like if a ball is hit on a line right at the dugout, or excuse me, in the bullpen area. We've seen that and how it comes back out on the field. Pretty easy to call it here because you have the fence in the outfield and there's nothing that kind of hangs over the field, or a basket like they have in Chicago or some of the other places.
Scudero breaks from first, grounded foul by Hill. And at Fenway Park in Boston, it's pretty necessary because they have that little lip on top of the green monster.
Yeah. Just awful, those
Sure.
seats up there. It's got to be so hard. I was talking to an umpire last year in Fenway Park, and he said when they institute this replay, this is going to be the toughest ballpark in all of baseball to call home runs. And thank goodness they're going to have the replay in Fenway.
2-2 pitch, fly to right field. Baldelli's got a long way to run, and he slides right into the wall and doesn't make the catch. Boy, that was tremendous impact.
And that was the left knee. It looks like it hit right into the wall. He has had so many injuries in his career. Remember, he blew his knee out a few years ago.
Yes, he did. Playing wiffle ball in the backyard of his home in Rhode Island.
And that's the knee that looked like it took the brunt of that wall. Wow.
It knocked him out for, I think, all of the 06 season. And injuries have been the key to this man not playing extensively over the last few years. Remember, when he first came up with Tampa Bay, he was considered one of the best prospects in all of baseball.
Certainly. What an effort. You see that knee go right into that wall. Not a lot of padding down there either. Ooh. He knows. He's a baseball player. He knows how that hurts. You know, A for effort with the way he went after that ball. You know, it's going to be a foul ball. And it's 50-50 at best if you're going to catch the ball. We've seen guys kind of peel off and just kind of let that ball go. That is all out right there.
You would have to think Baldelli knows that knee quite well, with all the surgery that he's had to endure. And he's not going to continue in this game. So the Red Sox will have to go to their bench. And here's hoping there aren't any long-term ramifications for this really gutsy slide.
You see his head also hit the wall right there, but it was the knee that took the brunt of that.
So his replacement is J.D. Drew as Baldelli walks off gingerly. Got a pretty good hitter coming off the bench here. So Hill had backed out of the box as they attended to Baldelli, and now he gets ready to face Penny again. Marco Scutaro is the man at first base. A leadoff single for Marco.
Look at that shot right there from his high home. The pitcher was standing in sunlight. Aaron Hill was standing in shadow. The sun keeps going in and out. That can play problems with your eyes if you're the hitter. You can't pick up the spin on a breaking ball.
Boy, Brad Penny's really keeping Scutaro busy, and Scutaro continues an aggressive lead out there. And he darts. Veritek the throw, and they get him. Perfectly placed as Pedroia applies the tag, and Scutaro's thrown out trying to steal, and here comes Cito.
And I don't think yet Marco Scutaro's real happy with that call by second base umpire Scott Barrett. They're going to meet right at second base. I think what Cito is going to say is it looked like the fielder caught the ball and tagged him up high, allowing Scutaro to get his foot in there. Let's take a look at the replay here. Good jump by Scutaro. Goes on the 2-2 pitch, straight steal. From that replay, it looked like he was out.
There's the glove,
catch, tag, and he's a little bit close.
Well, the base runner is erased. 3-2 on Aaron Hill. Lifts it to left field, backing up Bay. He makes the catch, and Hill is retired. Terry Francona took over as manager of the Red Sox prior to 2004, and hasn't he done a nice job when he replaced Grady Little, led them to the World Series in his first year. So both he and Cito Gaston have World Series titles, 2 of them each, as managers.
Look at the average finish position. Almost identical. Second place, 2.7 or 2.6.
Very similar numbers.
Great numbers.
Francona, of course, managed the Phillies for a time. Down the right field line, base hit for Rios. That hits the sidewall. Alex goes for second. What a day for Alex. 3 for 3, a single and 2 doubles.
Again, when he's hitting the ball all over the field, he's tough to defend against. He singled to center, he doubled the left center. Now he inside outs the ball and hits it down the right field line. And if this ball could have got into the corner, that's 3 bases. But it hits that wall that kind of jets out here, that Rogers Center, and it just kicks right to J.D. Drew, the new right fielder. But Rios will take it, another extra base hit.
Vernon Wells swings at the first one, flies it to right field. J.D. Drew awaits its arrival, and that's out number 3. 5 innings in the books, 3-2 Boston. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. One pitches alone to get through the first inning, gave up a home run to Baldelli in the second, but he has really settled in since. As we look at the numbers after 5, comparing Penny with Talent.
If you take out the hit by pitch and then the caught stealing and just say that is an out, the only batter since that home run who has reached was Pedroia walking back in the second inning. It's been great since giving up that home run.
And once again, the difference in this game right now seems to be the walks issued by Talent. He hasn't allowed one since the second. What a pretty shot that is. The last stream of daylight coming in. There's Bautista taking one away from Bay. Well hit, but caught by the third baseman. So there's a quick out for Talent.
You have to have great reactions if you play third base. This ball is topped by Bay, and it's just hooking right at Bautista. It doesn't even have to move.
Mike Lowell is the hitter. Lowell was a throw-in in the trade that brought Josh Beckett to Boston after the 2005 season. And he had come off a simply awful season with the Marlins. In fact, Lowell hit just .236 with 8 home runs and 58 RBIs in 2005 for Florida, and they couldn't wait to unload his contract on the Red Sox. He's been exceptional since coming over. In fact, during that 05 season, as he gets under this one and flies to left for Inglet. Cito Gaston was at home watching some games on TV and called Carlos Delgado, who was then playing for the Marlins, and basically told Carlos to go and tell Mike Lowell to get started earlier. He figured the only reason he's slumping is because he's not getting started early enough.
You know, the numbers that you just flashed, that was not a small sampling. He played 150 games that year and had 500 at bats and hit .230. Well, whatever he's done, he had some great years when he came to Boston. 120 RBIs in 2007.
How many phone calls do you figure David Ortiz is getting from baseball people saying, here's what I think you're doing wrong?
His old hitting coach, Ron Jackson, knows a little something, and he said he will talk to David if David will call him, but he doesn't want to step on the toes of Dave Magadan, the hitting coach. Ron Jackson is still in baseball as a coach, but he doesn't want to. He says, I know what he's doing wrong. I can see it. But if he would call him, he would work with him. Mike Easler is another former hitting coach who has seen David Ortiz, and he thinks that he could help him. But baseball, there's that respect. You don't want to step on the toes of the guy who's working with him right now. That's Dave Magadan. Who knows if they can help him or not, right?
Sam, do you have something to add?
Well, Jamie, just in watching the couple games in Minnesota and here in yesterday's game, I feel like they're pitching Ortiz a lot more inside than what we're used to seeing. And I don't know if that's an adjustment pitchers have made because he's adjusted his stance to close more, but it seems like they're going in on him a lot more.
Went in on him there and gets a strikeout. Khaled hustles off the field. He wants that offense back up at the plate. His team is trailing by 1, and Ortiz is 0 for 3. It's almost shut here. Second. Their lead just 1 here as we hit the last of the inning with Adam Lind, Jose Bautista, and Lyle Overbay coming up. The Blue Jays are the only team in the American League with 500 or more hits. They have 8 of them tonight. So 522 on the season. Lind has one of them, an RBI single that cashed Alex Rios in the 3rd inning. In fact, Rios to that point had gone 10 straight games without scoring a run. So here's Adam facing Brad Penny. Fly ball left field, well hit. Here's Bay back toward the wall, and she is gone. Tie ball game.
Brad Penny on the road. His ERA is right around 6. He had given up 17 earned runs in 26 innings and 4 home runs. That's something that had been a problem to him. And doesn't that feel good for Adam Lind? Watch how he takes this ball, lets it get deep, and then has the power the other way to take that ball into the first deck over the bullpen for the home run.
Adams' first home run since the 17th of May. When he hit one off Gavin Floyd. There's a happy customer. Let's bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, it's interesting with the roof closed, because with the roof open, that's usually an area which deadens the ball a little bit. With the roof closed, it tends to carry a little further to the gap. So probably still enough to get out, but still interesting fodder.
Certainly is. The timing is perfect on that roof closing as Bautista battles Penny here 0-2. And getting Adam Lind out of a funk is important for Cito Gaston, because during that run of 6 weeks where the Blue Jays were winning and winning and winning, as that scorched down the line, it was Lind really who was the go-to RBI guy, and right now he's got the home run and an RBI single in this ballgame. So 2 runs driven in.
Coming up with big RBIs. I mean, you can start on opening day. What he got that hit off of Verlander in the first inning, driving a couple of runs. I remember the Cleveland series, he knocked in a bunch of big runs for him.
0-2 pitch, swung on and missed Bautista. He's 0 for 3. This being Junior Jay's Saturday. Lots of kids in the building watching this strikeout by Penny, and the next one is coming up 1 week from today. Kansas City is here.
That's the big one, isn't it? The big 20th celebration next week?
That is the weekend that they celebrate 20 years of the Rogers Center. Kids 14 and under can pick up a Scott Rowland bobblehead by taking part in the Passport program. And as always, they get to run the bases after the game, which is always fun. Lyle Overbay, a double in 2 trips today against Penny. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Takes a cut, 2-2. Give Brian Talent time, and he really settles in. He did today. And once again goes 6 strong innings for the Jays, giving up just 2 hits.
Getting stronger as the game goes along. We kind of touched on it last inning, right at the end of the inning, about Brad Penny. I mean, nobody can say that this guy isn't a tough guy. In his last start at Minnesota, that ball goes away. Again, he was pitching with a sinus infection and pitched really well. 5 1/3 innings, struck out 7, gave up 6 hits, and he kept throwing up in between the innings. Felt very sick. But gutted it through and picked up the W last Monday. Good pitch there to get Overbay. He got him last time on one of those little splitters on a ground out. And you can see with 2 strikes, he goes right back to it. Kind of works like a changeup, something going down and away to a lefty. Out number 2 here in the 6th.
Here's Chavez. We saw Brandon League last night master that split-fingered fastball. Jerry Remy, I told you I bought his book.
Yeah.
He said the splitter was the hardest pitch to hit for him. Do you have trouble with it?
Sure, a good one. You know, Bruce Hurst, Clemens, Chuck Finley, Jack Morris. It's the guys who threw really hard, because it works like a changeup. And you got to really gear yourself up for guys who throw really hard. So you got to kind of quicken everything up and commit a little early sometimes. And if they drop one of those splitters on you, they can make you really look foolish. Roger Craig was the big guru on the split finger when he was the pitching coach for the Detroit Tigers.
Perfectly placed breaking ball there, and Penny gets ahead 1-2. After giving up the home run to Lynn to tie the game, he has struck out Bautista, struck out Overbay, and now has 2 strikes on Chavez. The right-hander deals up high. Penny, Josh Beckett, A.J. Burnett all pitched together in Florida.
Was Arnie their pitching coach?
Briefly, yes. What a good young staff.
Whew.
Ryan Dempster was down there.
Matt Clement. You said Beckett?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Penny was there long enough to win a World Series with the Marlins in '03. Here's the 2-2. And it's lifted over the head of Nick Green. Made a nice effort to catch that ball, but it's into left field. A 2-out base hit for Chavez.
Brad Penny's probably kicking himself right now. Again, with 2 strikes, he just can't put away at the bottom of the order. He was able to take care of Chavez his first 2 times up by pumping fastballs at him as John McDonald has come out of the dugout and he's going to pinch run for the catcher. But it looked like he threw some kind of off-speed pitch, and that really sped the bat up of Raul Chavez. And he was able to get that ball just out of the reach of Nick Green. You can see how close he came from making a great play.
McDonald in as the pinch runner. Joe Inglet, the hitter. He skies it foul. We haven't seen McDonald in action since the series down in Atlanta. It was Inglet who fought off a 2-strike pitch and dumped a base hit to left field when he faced Penny the first time in the 2nd inning. He struck out since, 1 for 2. And he scorches that one at Lowell, who's right there. He had been playing in, and he catches that one on a line to retire the side. But here in the 6th inning, Adam Lind hits his 8th home run of the year. And so it's a 3-3 ball game. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. We started the day with the roof open. Roof is now closed, and Rod Barajas is the new catcher replacing Raul Chavez. He'll form the battery with Brian Talent here. Talent struggled in the early going, giving up a run in the 1st inning and a 2-run home run to Rocco Baldelli in the 2nd, but has settled in nicely.
You know, he certainly had it. Even after all those pitches he threw early in the game, he is still under 100. for the game. He'll get through it this inning. But I think Cito Gaston kind of senses that he might be getting a little tired. He's got Scott Richmond warming up already.
From the second inning on, he has only allowed one base runner, and that was only because he hit Dustin Pedroia in the left knee. Here's Varitek, who stands right up at the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now 2-2. J.D. Drew is on deck. He replaces Baldelli in right field. Baldelli comes out of the ball game after slamming into the right field wall, chasing an Aaron Hill pop up in the 5th inning. 100 pitches thrown now for Talent. Here's the latest to Varitek, grounded foul. And again, after 2 innings of play, the way things were going for Talent, he was unable to throw strikes. He'd walked 4. There might have been a few people wondering if he would get to 100 pitches in this game.
He's only given up 2 hits this afternoon. Blue Jays have out hit him 10-2. But we sit tied here in the 7th inning.
The kick and the pitch from Talent on 2-2, and it's grounded foul again. They'll finish this series tomorrow. Ricky Romero goes to the hill for the Jays. He'll take a 2-1 record up against John Lester, who has been less than impressive for the Red Sox. An ERA for Lester over 6. Fly ball. Rios charging hard, and he catches up to it. Coming up a little later on Rogers Sportsnet, this is the opening of the Stanley Cup Final. It's the Penguins in Detroit tonight for game number 1, and they'll set it up for you on Hockey Central beginning at 6 Eastern Time. Here's Drew getting an at-bat for the first time. Out in the Boston bullpen, some bodies are moving. And Ramon Ramirez, who came over in the offseason from Kansas City, begins to warm up. 2-0 to J.D. Drew.
Gotta be careful here with J.D. Drew. 2-0. He is looking to do one thing right here, turn on some kind of fastball.
He does. He lines this one to right field, but right at Rios. So Drew lines out. Nick Green, the number 9 hitter, comes up. This is quite something to see. Brian Talent, who was thrust into this role because of an injury to Jesse Litch, now starts his 9th game today as really an emergency starter, and he's only had 1 bad outing. That was in his 3rd start down in Kansas City when he got roughed up for 10 earned runs over 4 innings of work. And you figured at the time when some of the healthy bodies like Romero, Casey Janssen, and later on Jesse Litch started coming back, that perhaps Talent would just be shuffled back into the bullpen. But the way he's pitching, how are they going to take him out of the rotation?
Well, I know he has opened up Cito Gaston's eyes, and Cito's talked about that how can I take him out? He has pitched so well for us, very consistently. 6 innings his last 3 starts, 7 innings the 2 prior starts for that. It looks like he's going to get 7 innings here this afternoon.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to Green, a career backup.
Giving his team a chance to win ball games. I mean, that's all you can ask for from your starting pitcher. Just give me a chance.
Two and two on Green. Left field and trouble. Base hit for Green. England over to get it. A 2-out double for the number 9 hitter.
And Brian is really upset with himself because it looked like he was going to throw him some kind of changeup. You can see him really mad as Barajas goes out to settle down his pitcher. 2-strike pitch. Look at that grip. It's a changeup, and it catches way too much of the plate and ripped into the corner. And the reaction from Talent really tells it all. Green doubles into the corner, and now he's got to face Ellsbury.
A left-handed hitter, Ellsbury. He takes a strike from Talent. Brian's pitch count is now at 112. With a host of right-handers coming up after Ellsbury, I wonder if this is the last hitter he will see regardless of the situation.
I know Cito wants him to get this hitter right here to give him a chance to win this ball game.
Quickly ahead of Ellsbury here. Jacoby 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Nick Green at second, 2 out. Here comes Talent. Off the plate for ball 1. Pitch is on the way, and it's ball 2.
Good eye right there by Ellsbury. He knows that Talent wants to nibble, trying to get him to fish for that breaking ball.
Barajas wants to talk it out.
It's been a situation where Ellsbury has not come through this year. 2 outs, runners in scoring position, hit a 158. Scott Richmond just standing on the mound. Make a pitch right here.
Trying to finish up 7 impressive innings. Here it comes. Pitch on the way. Low and away. You'd love to see him get through 7, but Cito Gaston might have a call to make if he can't get Ellsbury. Here's the payoff. Bautista, and there it is. The ground ball that Talent was looking for. 7 strong against the Red Sox. He leaves in a 3-3 game. A two-run shot, though he had to leave in the fifth. And some good starting pitching from both Brian Talent and Brad Penny.
It certainly turned into a pitcher's duel, and now it looks like it's going to be up to the bullpens to see who wins this contest. Talent 7 innings. The last time he threw 7 innings was the last time he won back on May the 9th. Brad Penny's out. Ramon Ramirez is in, and what a job he has done for Boston. Came over from Kansas City in the Coco Crisp trade, 22 games, 4-1 record. Opponents barely hitting over 100 against Ramirez. He really was tough on right-handers last year. Right-handers hitting just 153 and 137 at-bats last year. He's back at it again this year. Righties hitting just 158.
Top of the order for the Blue Jays, Scutaro, Hill, and Rios. Alex Rios will bat third here. He's 3 for 3 today. Scutaro has a hit. Hill does 2. 10 hits all told for the Blue Jays against Brad Penny. Here they see Ramirez 2-0. Ramirez came over from Kansas City for Coco Crisp after an electric year with the Royals. A 2.64 ERA in 71 games. But he can't throw strikes right now. 3-0. There's one. Ramirez is 27. He comes from Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. Kicks and fires on 3-1. And it's a strike, a full count then on Scutaro.
Taking all the way that 3-1 pitch, trying to get him to throw some strikes. Trying to work his way on base.
Grounded up the middle. Smothered by Green. He gets up, throws high to first, and Scutaro is safe.
It'll go as an infield single for Marco Scutaro. Green had to go a long way to get that ball, and sliding on that turf might have thrown off his timing. 3-2 fastball from Ramirez. Bang right back through the middle, and you can see him get up. And he just doesn't have a good grip as he airmails it over to first base, and Scutaro gets underneath there. Good start here in the 7th.
Marco now has 6 straight multi-hit games with 2 singles here today. First pitch to Aaron Hill almost handcuffs Veritek. And again, Ramirez starts a batter out 1-0.
You know he is going to be around the plate, Ramirez. He's only walked 7 batters all season long. But he's got a good sinking fastball that he gets a lot of ground ball outs with.
Wave and a miss there from Hill. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, with nobody out now, and a guy who can handle that bat. When you've got a pitcher who can get that ground ball, this is a good time to maybe start that runner over at first base. Stay out of that double play. Try to take that action and take it right to him. The way Alex Rios is swinging the bat, I'd rather see him with a runner at second base.
Scutaro gets back. Ramirez is obviously concerned with the man standing there at first base. He gets a sign from Veritek. There's a check of the runner. And now the 1-1. Fouled away. Flies to center field. In comes Ellsbury to his left. Hill is retired, one away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. So here's Alex Rios, 3 for 3 on the afternoon. He singled in a run in the first, has doubled twice since, scored once. Lays off that pitch. It gets away from Veritek. Up to second goes Scudero. A pass ball. And so Marco moves into scoring position.
Did they call that a pass ball? It looked like that ball was in the dirt. Probably a wild pitch. Told you he's got that good downward movement. Watch this one bounce. And Jason Veritek is very good at smothering the ball. It doesn't roll very far off the dirt. Heads up base running by Scudero.
Swung on and missed.
Rios had a 4-hit game back on April 22nd against Texas. Looking to equal it here. A hit will unbreak this tie also.
Two and one. Base hit center field. Hustling around third is Scudero. No throw to home, and the Blue Jays lead.
Ramirez ERA was under 1 coming into this inning. But the wild pitch pays dividends, getting into scoring position for a hot Alex Rios. Wasn't hit that hard. Looked like it got off the end of the bat just a little bit. But enough to get it where Ellsbury's got to move for the ball. He can't come in straight. Watch where this ball lands. He can't come in straight. He's got to kind of go to his right, and that's going to allow Scudero to score easily.
Here's a strike to Vernon Wells. The timing for that RBI single from Rios could not be better for a guy who has pitched oh so well and only has 2 victories to show this year. That's Brian Talent. So if that's it for Talent after 7, he would exit with the lead. The question is how much? 2 strikes on Wells. And Vernon's been in a position twice in this ball game to drive in runs, but he has grounded out and flied out with Rios in scoring position on 2 occasions. Here Alex is at first. Ramirez checks him there. And the 0-2 is on the way, and it's hit into left field. Base hit for Wells. That rolls up against the wall. Rios charging hard around third. He's headed for home. Here's the relay, and Rios makes it a 2-run lead.
Big RBI for Vernon Wells. And how many times have the Boston Red Sox been burned on 0-2 pitches here this afternoon? This is another one. This one floats right into the wheelhouse of Vernon Wells, and he doesn't miss it. Right up the alley in left center field. Here comes Rios. He knows he's got a chance to score as soon as that ball hits the turf. It goes all the way to the wall. Big hit. 5-3 now.
That comes at a great time for Wells, too. He drives home a very important run here. It extends the lead to 2. Up in the bullpen for the Red Sox, Hideki Okajima has just started to throw. Ramirez with tremendous numbers coming into this appearance against the Blue Jays, but he's already given up 3 hits, 2 runs have scored. So they get the bullpen working again. The crowd has come to life here.
In fact, the whole Boston bullpen has been so good. That's one of the things that they wanted to do with this team in the offseason, was make that bullpen a little bit better. They rank among the AL relief leaders in opponents' batting average, #1 at 236, saves with 15. And so far, it's been the Blue Jay hitters who've gotten the best of them this afternoon.
The Red Sox will walk. Oh my, Lind intentionally, and that one almost airmailed by Ramirez.
Yeah, don't take anything for granted.
It's been a tough enough inning for the young right-hander already. So Lind draws the intentional walk. Let's go back to the 3rd throw, the one that almost got away.
Casually, Veritek steps out, and he's got to go way up.
And Vernon was watching.
Sure.
So they'll face instead Jose Bautista with 2 on. Lyndon Wells on base. 2 runs in, bottom of the 7th inning. The Drays at one point trailed this game 3-1. They have come back with 4 unanswered. Bautista takes a cut. He's 0 for 3, striking out twice. He flies the ball to right field. There's Drew. Bautista's erased. So the Red Sox get a second out. And Lyle Overbay coming up. So out comes Terry Francona. He had Hideki Okajima warming up in the bullpen. And Francona goes to the pen. He wants to get the matchup here. So Ramirez is out of the ball game. Okajima is in. We'll take a short break and return to Rogers Center. It's the Penguins and the Red Wings back for a second go. Right now, though, baseball on Sportsnet. Hideki Okajima, a very good left-hander, comes out of the bullpen for the Red Sox.
Yeah, great numbers also for Okajima. Extremely deceptive delivery. When you watch him, you don't know how he can throw strikes. High leg kick and a good arm, good numbers, good fastball. His bread and butter pitch is a 12-6 curveball from top to bottom. Goes straight down, and he's got a very good split finger that he can throw to both left-handers and right-handers. Lefty's hitting a .143 against Okajima.
First pitch is popped up by Overbay. Youkilis sees it. And that's it. One pitch, one out. 2 runs, though, for the Jays here in the bottom of the 7th. They've got a 5-3 lead on Boston. Richly deserved, too. After struggling in the opening 2 innings, he looked very good over 7.
Took him 59 pitches to get through the first 2 innings. All 4 of his walks were in the first 2. All the scoring by the Red Sox were in the first 2 innings. But he slammed the door after that. 118 pitches. That's a season high for Talent, and he richly deserves all the handshakes he was getting earlier. But he's going to turn it over now to Brandon League. And how effective was he in last night's game in the 8th inning?
Incredibly. He got an easy 1-2-3/8, striking out Lowell. And when Brandon throws that split-fingered fastball as he did last night for strikes, he can be unhittable. Here he sees Dustin Pedroia, who's had a tough day at the ballpark after he was hit on a pitch by Talent in the left knee in the 5th inning. And he went down with a thud, and there were some questions at that time as to whether or not he could continue. To his credit, though, he actually tried to steal second base once he got to first and was thrown out. Top of the 8th inning. Here comes the 1-1 from League, and it's hit to right field, playable for Rios, and there's one away.
It's tough to get on top of a fastball like that when it's mid-90s. Tough to turn it around, tough to do anything with it. That's an easy fly ball to right field. Watch where this ball is. Some giddy up right at the top of the strike zone. And Pedroia just can't get the barrel of the bat out in front.
So here comes Kevin Youkilis, 0 for 3. He struck out twice, and that runs into the belt. Brian Talent today in the first 2 innings walked 4 and gave up 3 runs. For the next 5 innings, though, he didn't walk a single man and gave up just 1 base hit. And you touched on it at the time. You figured after giving up the home run to Baldelli, he just thought, okay, I'm going to ease back here and just start pounding the strike zone.
And that's exactly what he did, throwing zeros, goose eggs up there from the 2nd inning on. Ooh,
Nasty stuff. 1 ball and 2 strikes as we bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, that brings up the debate about Cito Gaston, and sometimes he's criticized for taking guys out or leaving them in too long. And I think showing the confidence he did in Talbot early in the game when he probably could have got him out in that second inning turned out for the good on this occasion. Although not many people will go back and say, wow, leaving him in was a good thing.
No question. And remember, we saw Scott Richmond up early on in the game, and the thought was another mistake or two by Talbot, and you might see Richmond in long relief. But Cito had faith, and that faith has paid off to this point. Two and two on Youkilis. 1 away, 8th inning. Here's the pitch from League, and it's nasty too. He just struck out Kevin Youkilis.
Yeah, that is something you don't see often. Kevin Youkilis striking out 3 times in one game. Talbot got him his first 2 times, and there's that nasty splitty right there for another one. Look at the depth on the movement of that ball.
Strike 1 now to Jason Bay. The Blue Jays need this from Brandon Lee. He had been inconsistent through the first 6 weeks of the season, even though the Blue Jays were winning a bunch of games. That's grounded foul. And now with Jason Fraser running into a bit of a road bump, Sean Camp, you know, Scott Downs, though he got the save last night, had some trouble on that road trip. They need someone to step up, and so far that someone is Brandon Lee.
With the struggles of B.J. Ryan moving out of the closer's role and moving Downs into the 9th inning, they've needed a guy in the 8th inning to get to the new closer.
There's a tapper. Barajas holds off League, fires to first. They get Bay by a step. A 1-2-3-8. Oh, Brandon, so impressive. Team to Canada. Well, the Blue Jays have put together 13 hits against the Red Sox today, and they've scored 5 times. Only Jose Bautista is without a base hit.
It's so good to see the middle of the lineup driving in all 5 runs. Rios with a couple, Lynn with a couple, and Vernon Wells with a big one last inning. That double, scoring the 5th run of the game.
Rod Barajas, who took over the catching duties from Chavez after Chavez singled in the 6th and had McDonald pinch run for him. Now sees the plate for the first time today. Jamie Campbell is with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. Our Sportsnet.ca columnist Scott Carson is with us. 5-3 Toronto, game 2 of this 3-game series. That 9-game losing streak the Blue Jays endured, now a distant memory. And that's baseball for you. 162 games. You've got to put stuff like that behind you.
Yeah, especially if they can do what the Red Sox did to them. Get after them. Sweep them. You'd forget all about that. You know, as players, you can't sit there and think about, you know, have we lost 6 in a row? Have we lost 7? You know, every day is a new day. You have to kind of put it together and come out because the season is so long.
Here's Joe Inglet. Okajima is the second Red Sox pitcher today who actually turns his head away from the batter while in his delivery. Brad Penny starts off with that motion where he's kind of looking toward the Blue Jays dugout when he delivers the baseball.
Yeah, but then he picks up the glove and goes right towards home plate. Okajima, it seems like his head is looking straight down when he's releasing the ball. Very deceptive delivery. Throw in that he can throw it in the low 90s with a good curveball. He's very tough on lefties. There it is right there.
2 years ago, the Red Sox went out, made all kinds of headlines, and paid all kinds of money to get Daisuke Matsuzaka to come over from Japan. And there might have been a blurb or two in the Boston newspapers when they acquired this guy too and signed him as a free agent. He was, and has been for the last 2 years, perhaps their best reliever not named Jonathan Papelbon.
He was an all-star that year, wasn't he?
I believe he was. He's facing Joe Inglet, who gets a chance to play here. Batting ninth. He scorched one right at Mike Lowell at third in the 6th inning. He flies this ball into left field for Jason Bay. Commentator clothing is provided in part by Z Zenya. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. If you're curious about Travis Snyder, who Inglet replaced on the big league roster, Snyder's hitting over 300 down in Las Vegas. He's only gotten into 6 games prior to today. 7 hits and 23 at bats, 6 singles and a double. He has not yet hit a home run. So Snyder's down there trying to find his swing again. And you were right, Pat. Okajima did make the All-Star game in 07 by winning that final vote, that online vote that they have to choose the final man. And really, that's not surprising. You're going to get a lot of votes in Boston.
Yeah, over 4 million to get on there.
It was Scudero's base hit, an infield single in the bottom of the 7th inning that got it started for the Jays last inning. He chops this one off the glove of Okajima and is going to pick up a base hit. Give Marco 3 hits on the day.
Yeah, 2 of them infield singles. And it looked like Okajima could have let that one go and Nick Green had it all the way. But when he stuck his glove out there, kind of knocked it down a little bit. No chance for the infielders to pick this one up. There it is, knocked down. Watch Green at the top of your screen there. It looked like he had a great chance because the ball wasn't hit that hard. But once it went out into no man's land, Marco has his 3rd hit.
Time for a pitching change. Here comes Francona. It looks like Manny Del Carmen will come out of the Red Sox pen and replace Okajima. So while they make that change, we'll return after this short message. Show up at the box office early and ask about the all-you-can-eat section here at Rogers Center. The Jays and Red Sox finish it up tomorrow with Ricky Romero facing John Lester. For those of you who can't get to the park, we'll have it for you on Sportsnet. Here's a homegrown talent, Boston native Manny Del Carmen, who can really throw hard.
Yeah, he really can, and he is the definition of a middle innings reliever. You don't get a lot of decisions. He has had just 7 in his 2+ years in the big leagues. Decisions. About 180 something appearances and just 7 decisions for Del Carmen, but he throws very hard, the fastball, the changeup.
One man on, 2 men out. Aaron Hill is the hitter. Scudero's at first, and the breaking ball is lifted into the air near second base. Pedroia puts away Hill, and the 8th inning comes to an end with the Blue Jays on top 5-3. Scott Downs on to close it when we continue.
Fantastic. Brian Talent a little wild early in this game, but he settles down. He gave up the home run to Baldelli, but then goose eggs the rest of the way into the 9th inning. He has really handled the middle of the lineup also. Youkilis 0 for 4, Jason Bay 0 for 3, Mike Lowell just has a single, and Ortiz is 0 for 3. That's exactly where Scott Downs is going to have to go through if he's going to get his 7th save.
He came in last night and locked in his 6th save of the year, 6 for 7 in save opportunities. Got a 1-2-3 9th. So he'll see the middle of the order here with Mike Lowell, David Ortiz, and Jason Varitek, 3 very accomplished hitters in the 9th inning. The Blue Jays lead it by 2. 5-3 Toronto. Game 2 of a 3-game series. Line shot into right field, and Lowell has a base hit.
Not like his first hit of the game, kind of half swings, kind of hitting the ball the other way. Single to right field his first time up, and Downs goes with a fastball away, and Lowell stays right on top of this one. Good plate coverage there for his second hit.
And though he may be struggling, Terry Francona knows he's got David Ortiz hitting 6th, and he comes up here with a man on and a chance to tie the ball game.
If we do get a ground ball to the right side from Ortiz, and he doesn't hit a lot of balls on the ground, it'll be interesting to see how they turn to with the shift on. It looks like Jose Bautista will act as the shortstop. Anything back to the mound or the right side, he'll be the shortstop trying to turn it. Good numbers for Ortiz versus Downs.
1-0. Line to right field. And a sliding catch made by Rios. Was that a knuckleball?
Oh boy, I think it got in the lights. We started this game with the roof off, the lights off, the roof open, the lights off, and now with it closed and the lights out there, it looked like it got in there for Rios as he goes to the slide, and watch his reaction. Watch his head, how he kind of turns it, watches it right into his glove.
And when I say knuckleball, you know how sometimes it can come off the bat and sort of jut.
Sure. Can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Stayed right with that one.
All right, so one away. Here's Varitek. Off the plate for ball one. And Varitek is a very dangerous hitter. At least recently, 6 home runs for Varitek in his last 9 games. 10 over the course of the season. He takes a wave and a miss, 1-1.
If he can keep that fastball down and sink it and get Varitek thinking about pull, he can get that ball on the ground, and the Blue Jays have done a great job all year turning double plays.
1-1, line to right field. And he's put away by Rios. 2 out. So the Blue Jays are now 1 out away from clinching a series victory. Trying to put 2 consecutive wins together. This is not your average number 8 hitter at the plate, though. J.D. Drew, an injury replacement for Rocco Baldelli.
Jays trying to keep this runner off of second base. The outfield is deep. The infield is deep, trying to keep the ball in the infield. Home run power for Drew in his career.
4 for 12 lifetime against Downs.
You can see how deep Vernon Wells is in center field.
Here's a ground ball. Scudero to first, and the boys in blue make it 2. The Blue Jays knock off the Red Sox again. A 5-3 victory